Hello and welcome to SNRS round 19 at Austin in Texas, a place I've actually been to. Nice state, very good racetrack, and we have 9 drivers today, which, given all the circumstances, is not too bad. Everyone in the pits, so let's just run through the order so far. Forrest is leading. He's had a very good season so far. Lots of podiums. Lots of race wins. Just all-round good performance. He's on 339 points. Hobnob's in second though, hunting him down 7 points adrift. A very interesting race last time out in Singapore, and he ended up, I think, coming second to Forrest's first. So all to play for the lead. And then it has to be said, quite a jump to Sam Newton, who can't make it today. Let's just say in third. Viper's in fourth, so he's present. I was very impressed with him last week. Very consistent on the wet. Safety cars kind of hampered his strategy a little bit. And then Captain, who's ever present, in fifth, which I think actually might be the lowest I've ever seen him in SNRS. So he's got to try and make up some places. I think third is on the cards for him. And yeah, I mean DK, shout out to DK in 8th place, just consistently finishing races, getting good points. But anyway, that's your introduction. We have a few cars on the outlaps. We've got Nissan in Lance Stroll's car. I think someone made the joke earlier, but don't think are there any gravel traps actually at this circuit at all? I think there are like a few, but they're in like the weirdest locations. But let's see if he can find a way to beach himself in one of them. We've got Captain in the Haas, Aiden going out in the other Aston. Maybe he's in Stroll's car. We'll find out probably after turn 1, lap 1. Forrest, DK, and Bills in the Merc. I swear he's always in the Merc. Nissan's gone out on mediums, so a little bit of a sighter lap, but everyone else out on the soft tyres. Cool. Right on board with Aiden. First one to set a hot lap. Not going to speak loads in this, just because my throat's a little bit sore. Got some water with ice cubes, but anyway, attacking almost like a long sequence of S's. You've got to be super aggressive right over the curves. Turning actually earlier than you expect normally. Nice and controlled here, always focusing on the exit, getting a high exit speed, because this is a deceptively long straight and you lose a crap ton of time if you come out of there too slowly. Then you dive in, slight late sort of turn in there, and then just straight back on the throttle. Again, so important to get that nice sort of wide entry to straight line the exit, activates DRS, activates overtake mode in the ERS, and then this is a difficult braking zone. Downhill seems easy, but quite often drivers do mess that up a little bit. Of course, going purple, first one out, and then here you want to sort of tuck the car in, slightly different lines through there to be fair, and then always a difficult apex to kind of get right when you're not used to the track there, because again, it's slightly later turning than expected, a lot of trail braking required. Some drivers kind of drift it through there nowadays almost. And then here you just attack the curves. It's just like classic racing. Just attack the curves as fast as you can, keep the track width in your favour, stay out wide, cut in early and so on. And a 1:32.1 is the lap time to beat. So I know Bills is next, and he has set a 1:35.3 on this cycle lap. We can stay on board with Nissan, but he's on the medium. We'll see what he can do. Quite a lot of lifting there. Yeah, not his favourite, but again, just a slighter lap. So I'm sure this doesn't mean much at all. It's a lot more time to gain through those corners. And to be honest, a 1:32.9, considering like what I just saw, is very impressive. So he's clearly got some very good pace to be almost casually taking those final 2 corners and set a 1:32.9. There we go, and that is an example of fully committing there by Captain. Always hearing the lock-up sound whenever I'm on his POV. And a 1:32.7. So actually Aiden is leading the way. Advantage Aiden Jones. 2007, which is kind of depressing if that's the year he was born in. Forrest has exceeded track limits, so his lap won't count. Mr. Barretto, he's out in the Alpine. Can he get a podium? We'll find out soon, I guess. Viper, Hobnob and the Greek Beal, some of the mainstays of SNRS, are in the pits. I tend to do the same, wait until about 11 minutes to go before I even go out at all. So let's see how Forrest goes here. This is a proper hot lap. Yeah, I was about to say, pretty sure he just exceeded track limits, and the game agreed with me. He'll have to try again, but he may now need to go in the pits, because I think it's the second run he's accidentally exceeded track limits in. Depends what fuel he's set to, of course. Some players set quite a conservatively high fuel load on the first stint. I do. Then set really, really low on the second stint. Just depends. Whatever preference, but I mean, his fuel gauge, I can't quite see his wheel. Yeah, he's actually good on fuel. He's very conservative, so he could genuinely just go again next lap. So I'd expect that. And let's ride on board with Zach Loretto. Whoa! All sorts of sideways through turn one. Difficult corner. Again, a corner has slightly different lines, and it's quite a nice overtaking spot. I mean, turn one, lap one around Austin is always incredible. Circuit of the Americas. Good fans here. Massive grandstands. Good views of the track actually from the grandstand on the right hand side. I've actually sat there before. Not for the F1 race, but you do get a really good view through the S's. It's amazing. And in some of the slower formulas, you can get actually almost side-by-side racing through there every single lap. If you watch like GT series or like the Ferrari series and stuff like that. Very nice through here, really attacking the circuit. Slightly wide, but actually that can work if you do exactly what he's done and you just bring the car out wide and tuck it in. This looks nice. This looks quite tidy. So much downforce now with these ground effect cars through there. It's almost too easy through those corners now. Nice enough on that, nice on that curb. Early shift up to 2-4. Straight lines and a 1:13.2.195. So he's just half of a hundredth off. Sorry, half of a tenth off. That's insane. Very close stuff. Aiden is now responding. He's on an outlap and he's just warming those tyres up. Let's not stay on board with Captain because he's setting up for a hot lap. Bills is 5/10 slower, so it's not looking ideal. So let's go on board with Hobnob. This is definitely a hot lap attempt here. Nice. A 1:31.7. What a lap. I was just staying quiet so you could all watch it. Great time. So we've got Greek Bill on a hot lap. I know Aiden is attempting to go faster. He's 1/10 improved so far. So we'll sort of stay tuned for that one. But I do want to stay on board with Viper. He's yet to set a lap. I think it's only fair we see what he can do. Forrest is gearing up, I think, for a hot lap next lap again. He's having a bit of a problem actually this session. He's just struggling to set a lap. Quite unlike him. But anyway, so Viper into sector 3. His fuel is in an interesting state where he's going to have to actually coast through his in-lap. So he's below 1 on fuel, so he needs to do something here and then just put it into eco and just sort of lift and coast back home. Not looking quite on the pace, is it? Good lap though, but not quite up there with the big hitters. 1:32.8 though. It's still a lot to play for. 7 minutes and 55 seconds left. And let's see what Aiden can respond with. and that is a fuel gauge warning and a track invalid 11 seconds down. So I think he will be going back into the pits, it's safe to say. I think Hobnon will be going back into pits as well. So I would await almost round 3 of this boxing fight and play the final round. But we've got Nissan, who has... I forget what the red symbol actually with the tools means. But he's definitely on a hot lap. Forrest has invalidated, no way. What is going on? So Forrest will need to pit. He'll need to pit because he won't have enough fuel to do another lap. So he will have to pit and basically just try again for his third and final stint. There's still plenty of time. It's really not a problem, genuinely. No worries at all. He's only got to string it together once. You can actually hear the car bouncing. It's crazy. This straight is not very smooth at all. It's really odd how they designed it, but it's very undulating and just bumpy for no reason really. But yeah, 5/10 of an improvement from the sound. That's great. Oh wow, what is coming off the back of that car? What in the name of Codemasters / EA bollocks is that? Jeez. You've got to love the new patch that came out. It's really improved the game. 1:32.1 though, meanwhile. Good lap time. And I do notice Nissan this time around was fully attacking those last 2 corners. I did say earlier that he clearly had a lot of pace in the bag when he was setting such a good time on medium as well. It's basically going for a Sunday drive through Sector 3. I mean, I'd be pretty worried if I was the competition based on that one. Welcome back, Cal Cohen. Just gearing up to set a lap time, but it's good to see him back on track, this time in the Red Bull. And Forrest is 0.4 on fuel. Did he try to set a lap? I don't know what's going on with Forrest. Like, I know he's an amazing driver, so I'm not questioning him. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't box it in the last lap. Maybe I'm missing something. Anyway, Cal Cohen, he's gearing up for his hot lap. Bills though is 2 tenths improved, so we've got to stay Coldzak 2 tenths improved as well. So let's just see how these two fare. Coldzak and Bills. And Bills is aborting, so he knows he's got pace in the bag. Oof. But he wants to get in the pits because, of course, with 4 minutes 40 seconds to go, you don't want to necessarily be doing another lap and then scrambling around, especially if you make a little mistake. Wow, so that's actually insane entry speed into that corner. And then a really big change of strategy for the last corner because you have to really plant the traction down at a 1:31.6. And this is a player that clearly understands the game mechanics and knows how to get the most out of the car, especially with the back end. The lock-up smoke is insane. I mean, I'm clearly like under a rock or something, but that must be post-patch because I swear it was not that bad. You think it's like a red arrow or like a stunt plane flying behind them. Right, Aiden Jones, Sector 1. Not in the gravel trap yet, that's good. Looks so much slower in broadcast mode. What is that? That was a cloud of smoke from a car that was at that corner about 7 years ago. Just going for a nice jog down that massively long straight. And it's quite frustrating from a setup point of view because you want to be nice and rapid through sort of Sector 1 where it's quite twisty and turny, although at medium speed corners. And then you've got this tight section, but ultimately you've got to keep high straight line speed with low downforce because otherwise you just get destroyed down that ridiculously long straight. I think I'd have made it slightly shorter, but it does provide some overtaking excitement. which depends if you're a purist or not, I guess. Let's see how Aiden does. Good pace here. 1:31.683, so close. It's looking really tight between sort of the top 4, but I just know Captain has insane amounts of pace. I don't think he's been grinding on the game as much this year, to be fair, but I'd certainly consider the top 5 to all have a shot of pole. So definitely stay tuned, because anything can happen. The last 2 minutes will probably be the best. So we've got Nissam now on an outlap. Aiden is mowing the lawn. He's mowing the concrete, I should say. But yeah, and somehow there's so much smoke on that track. I don't know what's gone on there, but that was a shame, because he was up on his lap. So he's definitely got pace in the bag, but he'll just be going as quickly as possible to get back in. Hopefully not corner cutting on purpose though, because that'd be a little bit naughty, wouldn't it? Captain, meanwhile, let's ride on board. So far so good from Captain, but he needs to do a little bit more. So we'll see how's his setup faring. He's on non-battery, so I think he has already abandoned and is gearing up for one more lap. Yeah, which is a smart play, because he knows his standards are insanely high and he knows he's better than that, and he wasn't quite at the pace he wanted. Sector 1's so difficult on this track. I mean, I will say now this is in my top 3 worst tracks. I am awful here, so I don't even think I should be talking about this circuit in all honesty. But I suck. I'm like, Sector 1 I find really difficult to nail. Oh! That's the end of Viper's session. He has invalidated in the worst possible way on turn 1. I'm sorry I caught that. That is so embarrassing, and I've done that myself about 50 times. There is nothing more frustrating in qualifying than... Actually, there is. Someone crashing in front of you. But it's probably about the second most annoying thing to invalidate on like on turn 1 of your most important lap. Greek Bill's session will be over as well. So we've got Bill's. Aiden's in the pit as well, so he won't be setting any faster laps. Meanwhile, Mr. Barretto, our current pole sitter, is out again. So let's see if he makes it to the flag. Let's just quickly check in on that. Oh my word! He's keeping it tight, but he's good. So he'll be the last one to cross the line. So let's just sort of try and track sort of the top 5 for now. It's probably about the best I can do. So we've got Nissam currently leading through sector 2. So much smoke! What is that? Captain shortly behind. He won't be able to get any tow from anyone. I think DK as well is on his hot lap. So loads of people flying around for this last flying lap of the session. You can hear that traction control audio coming through there. Just straight on the throttle while turning. Yeah, as someone who doesn't run traction control, if I even tried that, it would end badly. Has he invalidated? No, just set a slow sector. That could be it then for Nissam. Bills does not improve. I don't think Nissam's going to improve unless the game is lying to me. No, it doesn't quite improve. So we got Hobnob 4 temps down. Captain 2 temps improved. So if Captain nails this, he maybe jumps Bills. Let's have a look. No, not quite. 32.6. And now Hobnob. This is the key one. This could be the pole sitter here. Try to watch everyone. Let's see what Hobnob can do. He sets pole position at the final dying moments. But can Barretto respond? Because it's insanely close. I don't necessarily think so based on that delta. He's going to have to fly through these final 2 corners. And I think he already is flying. It's not enough. It's a red sector 2. And I think second place is going to be all that Barretto can settle for. But big shout out to Hobnob in the Red Bull. A 1:31.274. Great lap time. Wow. A man who really wants a trophy. Forrest, I mean, I don't know if Forrest had a qualifying ban. Maybe I'm just missing something there. But it's just so unusual to to go the whole session time and not set a lap. So I'm just going to guess that he had some sort of penalty or something. Let me look at incident outcomes, see if I missed anything. Now, there's been nothing since Azerbaijan, so I'm really not entirely sure what happened to Forrest. Commiserations, but In all honesty, I mean P11. it's not that bad, is it really? When you don't set a lap time and you've only got 10 cars in front of you, that's pretty insane. So there you have it. Calcoen's pitting, and I mean the session really should be over. Come on, EA, sort this out. Once they're in the pit lane, just ignore them now. We wait for the whole animation to finish. We wouldn't want to miss that. We wouldn't want to miss them putting the blankets on the tyres. My goodness me. What a game. End of qualifying. Good session. Hobnob is your pole sitter. By quite a margin, actually. By a pretty dominant lap time. In fairness. I think Barretto, Aiden, and maybe Nissam, I think, did have a little bit more pace in the bag. There was quite a few mistakes in that session, in fairness. A lot of people invalidated on their final runs, but this track is notorious for track limits and penalties, even in real life. Anyway, Hobnob, your pole sitter. Barretto second, Aiden third. Nissan takes fourth, Bill's fifth, Captain sixth, Viper seventh, the Greek Bill eighth, DK ninth, Calcoen 10th, and Forest with no lap times is in 11th place and rounds off your grid. So we'll probably take a 1 or 2 minute break and then we will begin the race, which I think is a 50% race distance. I'm going to get some water for my throat. Welcome back. We are now on the formation lap. Hobnob leading the way. Barretto, of course, second, Aiden in third. But let's take a look, more importantly, at the tyre choices. Wow, that is very, very consistent. Quite unusual for Texas. Only one driver on the hards, and that's Hobnob. So he's gonna, I'm guessing, hope to just stay out in front. Maybe then just join the back of a DRS train. Oh my word! Look at that! Wow, they should just completely revert this patch. This is awful. But that aside, in that little moment, I think Hobnob's strategy will clearly be to just try and hold on to the lead, but then if he loses a couple of places, just hold on in DRS on the mediums. He's clearly trusting his pace. Then jump onto the medium tyre and see it through. Pretty standard race, normally medium hard, hard medium. However, safety cars can always play a factor here. Not the most common track for a safety car, but you never know. Let's just double check a few things. Yeah, nothing crazy there. I actually can't remember how to tell how many laps there are before the race starts, but I think it's 50%. I mean, either way, we'll find out when it all begins. I think Captain and Viper, they'll want to make up some places. They've got perhaps more pace than they were able to show. Definitely Forrest is in that boat. And yeah, just looking at the powered by AWS race strategies. So medium hard is your standard. You can do crazy stuff like medium, medium, soft. You could actually do medium, soft, soft, I think, just about. I don't know why you do that unless they're safety cars, but expect a one stop. That would be my advice. So the final drivers are pulling up to their grid slots. The McLaren's making up the back two of the back three in the order. And there we go. Someone missed their box. Five lights and away we go. Hobnob leads very well from Barretto, who I think's in a little bit of trouble. Let's try and get that camera angle switched. Here we go. So we've got Barretto actually diving down the inside, so initially slow off the line, but then great traction. Good hard racing between Barretto and Hobnob. This is a great race for the lead, and Barretto's in dreamland there. He positioned his car to perfection, and he takes the lead. What a move. Meanwhile, very much single file through here at the moment for lap 1. Like I'm saying, with F1 cars, it's very much like that. Lower formula, you can go a lot more side by side through there. And now Barretto is going to have to really make a statement. He needs to try and build up a big delta on those mediums and try not to lock up too much. Try and get out of DRS range, and he is in dreamland with a medium, sort of a hard tyre runner behind him. But in the meantime, we've got Viper and Captain. Viper actually all over the back of Captain. I mean, DRS not, of course, enabled just yet. So true motorsport right here. Not quite able to get the move done. Forrest, though, already up to P9. So shout out to him. And just to recap, I mean, not tons and tons of changes there. But as you can see, Forrest up 2. Bill's losing out 2 places at the start. But the main one, Mr. Barretto jumping Hobnob off the start. Like I say, initially a little bit slow off the line, but then just great traction and great placement of the car into turn 1. So we've got the 2 Aston Martin boys, though, flying in 3rd and 4th. So they'll definitely want to put some pressure on soon. And they really need to probably get past Hobnob. Especially once DRS is activated, which it is now. Stay on board with Forest. Haven't done too much on board views at the moment, but I'm also curious with Viper. So let's just jump forward to Viper from the view of Bills. And that looks to me like good traction from Viper. I think Captain's struggling a little bit today. Viper, though, I thought he was going to conserve battery. Oh, this is an interesting strategy here. I mean, not teammates. Oh, good. Wow, very late on the brakes by Viper. And it's that classic old, can you switch a route back? Can you draw them out around the outside? We see that so much in real F1. But actually, Viper just had the traction over Captain, who seems to be struggling a little bit. Oh, Bill's almost eyeing up the very nice move there. A bit speculative, but I like it. Captain holding on in 6th place, Viper up. But of course, yeah, there are, of course, battery factors. Sometimes, though, if you try to conserve your battery too much, these things happen and you get jumped by someone going aggressive. And then, of course, a safety car or something comes out and you just think, why did I not use my battery? So I can understand both sides to that argument. Maybe Captain should have used more battery to hold on. He does now, however, have a 3-second penalty, which is not ideal, I have to say. Just really unfortunate from him. But an amazing driver. He's won SNRS so many times. So very talented guy, but maybe just not quite in peak form. Aiden and Issam still haven't got past Hobnob. So Hobnob's strategy of the hards is going exactly the way I thought it would. Probably lose 1 position, maybe 2, and then just stick in the train. I think as long as he doesn't drop to 4th, he's okay. I think he needs to stay in 2nd or 3rd, so even if he loses his place to Aiden, that's absolutely fine from his perspective for now. That tyre smoke, I need to stop talking about it, but what on earth is that? There is a yellow flag in Sector 2, and it's for Captain maybe? No, Captain just maybe run wild. I didn't see exactly what happened, but Bills just cleanly got past him. So didn't see the whole move. I did see Captain running very wide. Whether he was pushed wide or not, don't know. But either way, I mean, Bills almost made a double move. Insane stuff. Cal Cohen now diving down very sweetly against DK. But DK says, no, thank you. I know how to defend around here. That's the way to do it. He holds on. Lives to fight another day, much to Cal Cohen's frustration, I'm sure. Commiserations, of course, to the Greek. Bill's running in 11th. Did have the best time out last week, but he's still very much in this race. No one has fallen too far back. Yeah, anyone can win from here, especially if there's a safety car. I think Captain now is going to start to ramp up the battery use. I think he needs to definitely get the move done on Bills. At least fall back behind the Viper, and that's exactly what he is trying to do. It's always beautiful watching moves down turn 1. Such a lovely wide corner. They should just make corners wider in general. Just make tracks wider. You know, you want to make the cars wider, but make the tracks wider, please. This is a good example. I have to say though, the fight back from Bills is insane there. He did not give up. That is actually incredible there. Do not think Captain was expecting it. I would not have expected it. Wow. I mean, Captain, people are really racing hard against him today. They do not want to let him through. And suddenly, Forrest is already up to the back of Captain. I have to say, I completely missed Hobnob dropping many positions. What on earth happened there? So apologies to the viewers. I was just too busy watching that side by side. Forrest has now got past Captain. So this is going from bad to worse for Captain at the moment. But it's still plenty of time. But yeah, what on earth happened to Hobnob there? I mean, this is his worst case situation. He's just basically fallen behind the medium runners. And he's going to struggle, I think, on lap 4 to stay with them. So these laps will be crucial. And he's responding, of course, by using that battery because he knows just how crucial it is. And it's difficult with hard tyres, actually, through these last 2 corners, especially this one. Interestingly though, he's actually gained time there. So just super good driving. But doing very well to stay in DRS. Very smart driver. And he needs to now desperately stay in this train. If he can do that, he's absolutely golden. Meanwhile, Beretta, though, has had a very good race. Up 1 place. No idea why it's got a horizontal line, because he's definitely gained a place. But yeah, good driving. Did not see what happened with the Aston Martin, so apologies for that one. That's on me. Let's go back on board with Forrest. He's already exceeded Captain's DRS range. Captain doesn't have a damaged car, so I think just sort of slightly struggling, biding his time a little bit. Forrest all over the back of Bill, so I think he'll be looking to get this move done. But we know what just happened there, lots of smoke up front. But Forrest will be looking to try and get the move done on Bills. He knows how strong Bills can defend. Bill's very good at defending. And look what he did to Captain earlier, and Captain has dropped to Cal Cohen. So I don't know if Captain has damage, but this just seems, yeah, maybe it's just DRS at the end of the day. But a little bit surprising. Anyway, this is a great fight here. Viper versus Bills. Wow, and muscling his way to keep that place. I mean, of course, Bills would have had DRS, so Viper is going to always struggle. But I love how tight the racing is. It's really good racing between all 3 of these drivers so far. Aiden, though, meanwhile, apologies, has taken the lead down turn 1. I'm trying to track all the racing. It's actually becoming a better race with each passing lap. I mean, because this is what I was trying not to miss. So Forrest, Bills, Viper. It's going to be side by side through Sector 1. Always ends well when this happens. Look at that. Such great racing there. And then Forrest, of course, forced to run a little bit wide. But ultimately gets the move done, and he now needs to use battery because, my word, he needs to stay in that DRS. You do not want to give Viper a cheap out, and yeah, he's absolutely mastered that one. So great move by Forrest to get past Bills. But Bills is so difficult to get past. I mean that in a great way. You know, he's just a good driver. But now I think Forrest will be looking to get past. In the meantime, like I say, hard to keep track of both. Barretto just making a simple, in the end, DRS move. Likewise, Forrest making a simple DRS move. Will Bills also fly past? Yeah. To be honest with you, this in a nutshell is actually why I don't like how long that back straight is. I just think it's too harsh. I'm not the biggest fan of DRS anyway. I mean, if lower formulas can race without DRS, like that means that we know as like a human race how to make cars that can race close together. So what on earth are we doing? But that opinion aside, I mean, the truth is with this track, the DRS straight is so long that if you're the lead car, you're just screwed. I mean, this game doesn't really simulate dirty air at all, so it's too easy to stay in trains, and that's why strategies like Hobnobs typically do work well. But it has to be said though, Barretto and Aiden Jones, they've broken away from Hobnob, which you would probably expect around lap 7. Probably would have expected it earlier actually, and that would be that's good news for Hobnob, because give it 2 more laps, 3 more laps, and yeah, 3 more laps maybe, and then the hard tyre should be quicker, or maybe the same pace. Same pace if not quicker than the medium. So I think Nissan is probably the biggest loser right now in this sort of fight for the lead. He needs to get past Hobnob, and so far he's looking quite far back. Bills has overtaken Viper somewhere, so Bills in P6, Forest in P5. We'll try and get back onto that fight shortly. And then again, Aiden making a simple move. I mean, they're happy with this. They're both intelligent drivers. They know the best thing to do is just let the other car through, save up battery against your rival, but just do not let P3 get into DRS. That is it. That is the sole objective, especially when they're on hard tyres. And they know that, and they're executing it well. In the meantime, Forest is still in P5, Viper very close to go, so actually no change there. And Nissan was not able to get past Hobnob, which is pretty much disaster territory for him at this point for winning the race. But good battles though, really good battles for P1, P3 and P5. Let's ride on board with P2, see how he's looking. Barretto certainly looks more than comfortable with being within range to make a simple move. So yeah, like I say, very much cat and mouse, just working together for now. Nothing too crazy. Just look after the tyres, don't get any track limits warnings, don't burn the battery. So much of motorsport now, especially in F1, is just management of numbers and temperatures. As I say that, Barretto does get a 3-second, which will infuriate him, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong, they're still pushing so hard, and you know, good driving. But yeah, that is not what he would have wanted with the strategy he had, which was clearly just to train it up with Aiden. So he'll make the move, no doubt about that one, and it's definitely advantage Aiden now. He would have loved seeing that penalty box appear at the top of his screen, as he runs a little bit wide. And that does allow Hobnob to gain in. I mean, see that? You know, just one little mistake and suddenly 3 or 4 tenths can be gained by the cars behind. So, gotta be careful. This I think, sort of settling for P4. Not in a bad way, you know, just settling into a good rhythm, looking after the car. Forest is doing a great job. I mean, he's just now broken DRS, and I think 2 laps consecutively now he's not been overtaken despite having absolutely no DRS. So it just goes to show the pace he had, and makes the qualifying session all the more surprising. Bills, I mean, understandably pushing super hard to try and stay in that DRS train, and it's just not quite worked out. And not only that, just to make it even worse, with the last corner, he then falls out of DRS range. That's devastating. There is a yellow flag for the Greek Bill, who is now going into the pits. Okay, that's fine. I think he's okay. I mean, pitting there, he's completely fine. He's still in a good race here. DK is going around. I've not really discussed Captain too much, but very sadly for him, he's being lapped, which is a real shame. I'll say right now, I'm a far worse driver than Captain in every department. You know, I would say. I don't know. We have good side-by-side racing, I guess, but I think we've both got decent racecraft, but his inherent pace is 100 times better than mine. And yeah, it's sad to see any driver getting lapped. I've been there too many times. It's frustrating as heck, especially when the game doesn't let you unlap yourself in SC. But fair play to him for sticking around. You know, good driving, getting out of the way, and just yeah, very respectful driving from a multiple championship winner of SNRS. So never count him out. Anyway, Aiden and Barretto for switching around. Aiden will be even more happy now to allow this for the rest of the race. He'd happily just bounce to and fro till the end. Hobnob, that's a track limits. Quite sneaky though, I like it. He lifted off the throttle before he came back on. And this game is so... I'm not going to insert the word I was going to use, but you can work out what it is. That actually often doesn't give a penalty for that, which is just insane. Captain pitting. This could be the end because he has been lapped, so he's allowed to retire, and that is perfectly understandable. Sorry, mate. You know, P11. It's a good haul of points. Got to see the positives. Good pace from the leading cars, to be fair. You know, very, very consistent. I think only 3/10 down so far on their best laps. That's very good for lap 10 on mediums. I mean, yes, you're burning fuel, but at this stage, I think the tyre wear is becoming more of a problem. Hobnob, though, still sort of maintaining the between 1.5 2 second gap. But notice this is where he's really losing out, because he just doesn't have DRS. He's just in a well by himself. Nissan, we missed it, but he must have made a pretty catastrophic mistake, because he's just dropped off. So yeah, must be driver error there. And Forrest, meanwhile, is flying, just like he was actually in Singapore. That last lap, for those that didn't get a chance to watch it, the last lap was incredible. They raced, yeah, it's just insane actually. It's hard to describe what happened there, but in the last lap, out of nowhere, the pace differential between, I think it was Inter and Wet, just exploded. Or it might be medium and Inter, I can't remember. But either way, Barretto is going into the pits. Aiden choosing to stay out. Very last ditch choice by Barretto, which is always good. If you're racing that close, you want to get the upper hand on an undercut. You want to make sure the driver behind can't guess that you're going to go in. So nice driving from Barretto, who clips the camera pole on the way in. So he'll worry the track maybe a grand or two after the race. Barretto comes out in it has to say, a sweet spot. I mean, okay, no DRS fine, but nice clear air. That's what you prefer, right, at this stage, especially on the hard tyres where you're just trying to get a feel for it. He does have to be careful because obviously undercutting onto the hards on lap 11, that's tough. Hard tyres are difficult round here when the tyres are cold. Looks comfortable though, gaining well on Viper, and like I say, not being held up. However, we'll see, because actually I may regret my words, because it could well be he actually does get caught up throughout the very final part of Sector 3. So we'll stay on board with him for now, because I think it's the most interesting thing for the race. Let's see no DRS, he won't mind too much. I don't think it'll make any difference if he had it or not, because I think he's just going to fall into the back of Viper, and just very much hope I think Viper's pitting. But that should be fine. Should be fine down the very first straight. But yeah, just look at the traction difference here. The medium, like I say, I did always say lap 11 is sort of that crossover point. I mean, wow, okay. I don't think Viper wants to fight that one. That's just insane there, the difference in traction. And Bills very politely gets out of the way. So pretty much perfect, I would say perfect outlap from Barretto. That's textbook. I mean, that, if anyone wants to do it that way. Aiden, let's see how he comes out. And yep, losing out crucially, not only to Barretto, but to Viper. So I mean, you've just seen a textbook move there, textbook undercut move by a driver wanting to win a race. You stick that tyre on, even if it's a slightly slower tyre, it's not worn, so it's faster. Stick it on the lap before. Make sure you don't telegraph the pit until the leaders cross there, like the final corner in this case. Really nice and rapid on the outlap, despite cold tyres. Clear like any traffic as soon as you can in a nice way. And ultimately, he's got himself an insane barrier. And of course, you know, Aiden is going to get the move done, but he just got slowed up through Sector 1, and he lost a lot of time. I mean, seriously, you could lose so much time just through Sector 1 alone with a car with weak tyres. You can see the damage, 2.3 seconds. So really, at the moment, this is just a race between Barretto and Aiden, and it's just who is faster over the next 16 laps. Barretto needs to be faster by 0.8. He needs to be 3 seconds clear. And just to make that very clear to everyone, looking at the penalties board. So there's 3 seconds of penalties, so at the end of the race, 3 seconds will be added on. Oh my word, I spoke too soon. Okay, advantage back to Aiden, because I would have backed Barretto to get a 3 second gap. I do not back Barretto to get a 6 second gap. So unless Aiden gets a penalty, this is Aiden's race. Simple as. I mean, 6 seconds is not the place to be on lap 13. So we'll keep track of it. But yeah, I take back everything I said. Meanwhile, Hobnob, though, it has to be said, doing a good job. If we just look at the gap to the leader, he would come out behind P5, but then he will be on the medium tyre. So yeah, it's not the slowest pit in the game actually, to be fair. So I think it is about a 23-second pit. It's not ideal, in all honesty, but at the same time, I mean, he has no penalties and he will be on the faster tyre, so positives there. Fastest lap so far set by Mr. Barretto, but interestingly, Hobnob's fastest time is up there, so it just shows that when the hard tyres are working well and you're a good driver, you can do good things. I think Hobnob might be actually regretting, though, I'll be honest, starting on the hard tyre. We'll see how it ends. But Forrest and Hobnob the only drivers yet to box, as you would expect. Just keeping an eye on those tyres. Viper has now boxed as well, should have mentioned. And he came out just ahead of Cal Cohen, so that's pretty decent. Oh wow. Wait, what? What happened to Barretto? Oh sorry, I take it back, I'm getting confused. It was, sorry, my apologies, it was just Barretto overtaking Forrest. Just when I joined it, it was confusing. So yeah, now Aiden has another car in the way, but surely Forrest will have to pit at the end of lap 14. It just makes no sense to stay out. Well, I say that, I know a few drivers here that like to do medium soft and push it, but I've just never seen that work. Cal Cohen falling just outside of DRS. It was a tight battle there, sort of clinging on for the fight for P7, has a penalty as well. But still only halfway through this race, 14 laps remaining. Anything can happen. No safety cars so far. I'm not seeing any bad driving actually, no real dodgy incidents. Like tight, hard racing, but fair racing so far. So yeah, Aiden, as you would expect, now has caught up to the back of Forrest. Actually quite a decent time to catch up to him, as long as Forrest either pits or he gets him on the main straight. Otherwise, or I should say the start-finish straight. Whoa! Yeah, I honestly didn't want to say anything. So a driver who wasn't as experienced as Forrest would have just turned left and wiped out Aiden Jones, because it was kind of obvious that he was going to pit. But obviously because Aiden went for the move down the inside, he had to suddenly abort. But that honestly could have been a disaster. I have seen that happen too many times, and both drivers normally end up in a wall. But fair play to Forrest, actually sacrificed a bit of time for the longevity of his race. Comes out with a very big fight immediately. Doesn't quite, yeah, and that could be it. Just the tight margin of that pit entry could just genuinely be the difference between getting out in front of Bills or not. Good news is, as long as you can get the tyres up to speed immediately and stay in DRS, which will be very hard, as you were seeing with the Delta, he is okay, but he definitely needs to burn battery. Burn that battery, mate. Straight on to overtake. Love that. And I think it will just be enough. So that's tidy. Tidy stuff. And yeah, his race is very much on here. Race to the flag. Yeah. Could be a good race against Hobnob, actually. It's annoying me how much I've forgotten this track's pit stop time. I'm sure it'll be pretty close. Hobnob and Forrest could be within 3 or 4 seconds of each other. I think we'll just say that. Now, of course, Forrest will get slightly held up. Did set the fastest Sector 2 of anyone on his very first lap on the hard tyre. Yeah, is he going to try and go for the move down here, or is he going to hold on probably for the main straight? So much more confidence on corner exit there. So much more traction just earlier on the throttle. Quite a straightforward move in the end. And Bill's a very good driver, so that just shows the pace that Forrest has right now. Meanwhile, Hobnob's staying out. I think he will box next lap. That's my guess. Lap 17. It seems like a lot of the drivers really struggled on the mediums at the end of the stint. And that's why I think drivers did pit a bit earlier than expected. And it'll be curious to see actually how they fare on at the very end of the stint. But I think in this game, to be honest, around this track, the hard tyre just lasts such a long time. I think that's actually another reason why people like to start on the medium, get everything out from it, knowing that you can just pit on the hard at any moment. That's absolutely fine. So Bills did stay in DRS range of Forest. Can't get the move done. Forest just too quick off the corner exit. He carries good entry speed, but it's very nice on the exit. Aiden is 4 seconds adrift to Barretto, but as long as he doesn't get a penalty, this race is still in the bag. I will say though, I mean, you know, all it would take from Aiden is one mistake, even a minor mistake, and you lose 2 seconds. So the race is not over, and obviously as it goes on, there's a higher chance that Aiden gets a penalty. We could even, to be fair, just very quickly check. So we're looking for Aiden's name, and he has exceeded track limits only once. So he's looking on course at current rate to finish with 2 warnings, which is not a penalty. Bill's definitely not in the same boat. Yeah. I think the most I've got around here on a 50% is 6 seconds. But it's just so hard. You just want to keep pushing and pushing, especially through sector 1. And then the game just hates you if you try. So Barretto has caught up to Hobnob at quite a bad point on the track, I think it's fair to say. And as long as Hobnob positions his car in sort of the middle and then cuts to the inside around now, yep, which he's done, no one can get past really. So that's now going to waste maybe 4 more attempts, and then Hobnob boxes. So that should give Aiden a little bit of a reprieve, maybe 2 or 3 attempts. Yeah, which it looks to have done. And then of course Hobnob putting on that medium tyre. Rapid pit stop. So Nissan of course will fly through. I did say that it will be between Forest and Hobnob, and I think Forest will be in about 3 or 4 seconds of Hobnob. So let's see how that works out. I could be wrong actually, it could be more like 5-6 seconds. I thought about 3 or 4. Yeah, 6 second gap. It's a little bit bigger than I expected. And of course Hobnob now on the medium tyre, but he is our pole sitter and has amazing pace, an amazing qualifying time as well. So definitely, if anyone is going to make a move in this stint, it's going to be Hobnob, and boy do we want it, because this race is becoming, in the nicest way, a little bit stagnant. I mean, these gaps are not what you want to see in motorsport. Just annoyingly consistent gaps. I mean, if you look at the track map, it's quite frustrating, almost like an endurance race. But yeah, let's just stay on board with Hobnob. I'm going to mute just for a second to get a drink. But yeah, let's just see what sort of lap times Hobnob can set and how quickly he can maybe close in on the hard tyre runners. Welcome back. Won't lie, I've just made a gin and tonic. Feel very middle class. Not like me, I've not had one in about, I don't even know how long. But here we go. So Hobnob has actually gained 1.5 seconds, because I remember 5 seconds was the number in my head. So it is coming down. 8 laps to go. I think it's safe to say that Hobnob's best result will be P3. And I think it just goes to show at a high level of motorsport, tyre strategy is so crucial, because Texas, or I should say the Circuit of the Americas, COTA, it's a track where there aren't typically too many incidents. Nice and wide, very well designed. It's designed with racing in mind, and you'll often find that with the high level players, tyre strategy is the difference. And typically starting on mediums is quicker. Just to get from A to B over 28 laps is quicker to start on the medium and end on the hard. And I think that's really just been the main difference between Hobnob, Avon and Beretta. I think all three would be worthy winners. Nissan will have his work cut out to hold on, but the more laps he can hold on, of course, the better. Well, more the worse the medium gets, which of course then means the medium, sorry, the hard is kind of better. It's more consistent. I don't know if I explained that very well, but hard tyre consistently slow, medium tyre starts quicker, but when it drops off it becomes even slower than the hard. There we go. So just keep an eye on this number, 4.5 seconds. This is very much a strategist's race at this point. 4.5 seconds. 8 laps to go, and he cannot fall out of 6 seconds. Oh, that mistake could be it. That could be about half a second at least. Okay, does quite well to put his foot down though. But yeah, lost about 3 tenths just through that little... Well, it's a small mistake, not a big thing. But I say that, over 7 laps, if you keep doing that, it's game over. So that's what I mean, it's going to be very tight margins. Bills, oh my word, is that a safety car or VSC? Oh, Bills, what on earth? What a weird place to end up. I don't think I've seen a driver end up there before. And wow, I have to say, Barretto has absolutely gotten away with that, because we all know, everyone should know that in that situation there will be a full safety car. The VSC is some sort of miracle for Barretto. I'm just going to say it as probably some sort of Italian money scheme or something, who knows. Just speculation, not fact for the record. Never accuse anyone of anything, but wow, VSC has already ended as well, so no way for Jones, for Aiden, Nissan with the light to catch up. I'll tell you what, Hobnob would have been praying for the safety car. A safety car for Hobnob would have potentially even given him the race win, and Barretto would have been probably 6th or 7th. So, you know, as I say, it's not over until the end of lap 28, and Barretto has a lot to do, and he needs to hope that his penalty points don't bite him. 6 seconds of penalties. But it's going to be close. Considering nothing else happens between here and the end, it's just going to be down to driver pace. Cal Cohen has gone onto the soft tyre, that's fine. It will comfortably do those 7 flying laps. It should do them very quickly. Soft tyre's nice around here for about 5 laps. Hobnob, meanwhile, has closed up almost to the back of Nissan. It's been a long haul trying to recover a podium for Hobnob, our pole sitter. Just to run you through the order, so we've got Hobnob, of course, down 3 from pole. The other 3 gaining 1 because of that strategy difference. Forrest up 6 places. He didn't set a time in quali though, and we knew he was quick, so to be honest, +6 is about what you'd expect. It was a question of could he keep up with Hobnob. Hobnob with a better tyre. Answer's no, he can't keep up, but that's pretty understandable. It's on a hard tyre. So I think it's going to be a very comfortable P5 for Forrest, which is good, all things considered. As for the others, just huge gaps, you know, just little mistakes here and there. Just the race hasn't quite gone their way. And commiserations to Bills and Captain, who are both DNF'd. And what's happened here? Almost missed it, apologies. Hobnob and Nissam, I mean, it was inevitable. That was kind of the one bit of action that was left in the race, so of course I miss it. But yeah, Hobnob with the inevitable move under DRS. Nissam gave it a good go trying to defend, but couldn't hold on. Again, pretty inevitable, but good stuff. And Hobnob now needs to just see out this race, make sure not to get any penalties. I think, seeing as we're at a point in the race where there's not tons going on, let's have a look at Hobnob. Let's look at 2nd through 4th's penalty count. Just see what's going on. Hobnob has 1. 2. No, that doesn't count. Actually, that's a different type. 2. So Hobnob is 1 away from a penalty. Aiden is only on 1, so he's actually 2 away from a penalty. That's very impressive, to be honest. So I'd expect Hobnob to get probably 1 more warning. So expect a penalty for Hobnob. And Nissam, I don't even know if I saw his name. Let's check. Oh, okay. In 1 lap, he did it twice. That is actually so devastating. I've done that before. That's borderline depressing, yeah. So he's after lap 5, he was just immediately on thin ice, which actually explains quite a lot with his driving, because he did become a lot more conservative after lap 5. So Nissan and Hobnob, 1 corner cut or track limit warning away from a 3-second penalty. So this fight for 3rd is still on, for the record. And Aiden is 2 away from a penalty, which is actually pretty damn good. But I think his bigger issue now is not the penalties, it's the 6-second gap. It's still 6 seconds, right? Yeah, 6-second gap. So as of, I think, turn 1, lap 24, technically, Barretto is now leading the race. Just about. Well, it's certainly, let's just say, equal. And this is an interesting one because obviously there's battery differences. You can see that they're both staring at the Delta and hammering the battery. So yeah, absolutely going for it. And yeah, we'll see. Here comes out on top. I think my mic might have been broken for a second there, but all I'm saying here is Nissan needs to desperately hold on to Hobnob, 3-second gap. If you can put pressure on Hobnob, get it below 3, and force Hobnob into a 3-second penalty, you never know. 3 flying laps to go, including this one. Forest is doing well though, actually, closing up on Nissan far quicker than I ever expected, so fair play. Who's just run off? Hobnob's run off! Oh, that was unexpected. Oh, poor Hobnob, and just gets out of the way sensibly of Forest. Oh, that's devastating news for Hobnob. I was saying, I think I was accidentally muted, but I was just saying how Hobnob will be leading the championship after this race. I think now, let me just double check, because it is between Forest and Hobnob for this season, I think it's safe to say. I think the rest aren't quite there this particular season. But let me just take a look at the standings, because there is a 7-point difference in Forest's favour. So Hobnob getting past on DRS, that's crucial, because he needs to eat into that 7-second deficit. So as it stands right now, it'll put them almost level. So this is actually now suddenly out of nowhere, Motorsport delivers again, and we have a very close race. Just not quite going Aiden's way. Can he put the pressure on? 2 more laps. Forest makes the move under DRS, reclaims P4. Hobnob needs to hold on, but he's got the medium tyre. Forest runs a bit wide, and that could open the door for Hobnob. Not quite. Close though. So we are on the final lap, lap 28 of 28. Hobnob overtaking Forest. This is going to be a tight finish. Interestingly, Forest could well jump Hobnob, which is unexpected for 2 reasons. The first one, Hobnob's tyres are now 10 laps old, and on the mediums that's not a good sign. Lap 10's when they start to fall off. Second thing, Forest has positioned himself to get DRS. If I was Hobnob, I don't. Oh, sneaky! He just did. He just did what I said. I was about to say. I swear, I promise you. I was about to say, the smartest thing he could do is just lift off out of nowhere, and then immediately put the throttle back on, and try and get the move done here. It may have backfired. Oh, this is going to be insanely close. Actually, outside's a good place to be. Yeah, I think Forest should have held the outside, but that was smart by Hobnob. I don't actually know the full rules on it. I know some leagues they actually ban that behaviour. I'm not saying anything for or against it. I don't care. But either way, he's smartly played the system. Oh, look at this side by side between Forest and Hobnob. This is what you want to see. Hobnob maintains position. Will Forrest try and dive down? I just don't think he can. That's going to end only one way. And Hobnob. Oh, it's close. Wait. Forrest beats Hobnob. What on earth happened at the end? What happened at the end? Did Hobnob put the throttle down too early and spin towards the centre? Oh no! Did he? I'm guessing it was that. Like he just put the throttle down too early, or was he trying to like wave to his pit crew? I don't know what happened, but he just threw that at the end. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough for Hobnob to do it to anyone's frustrating. Obviously, to do it to your title rival is even more frustrating. I mean, he played it so well. He did the right thing to sit back and take DRS. And it was then his to lose, and he lost it. But Forrest, stayed in there, and to be honest, the tenacity is insane. He was very far down, started P11, and had to work his way to the bitter end to gain that P4. I mean, apologies to the top three. I missed you only because this race here was for the title leaders, and it was so close. Driver of the day, Forrest jump. I will agree actually with that one, but Barretto probably joint driver of the day. In the end, he actually quite comfortably saw out that win. I mean, the penalty just didn't faze him. So you've got Mr. Barretto taking the top step, taking the trophy. Congratulations. And then the two Aston Martin drivers had a very solid day out. So amazing stuff for the Constructors' Championship. It has to be said. And speaking of the constructors, I mean, Aston Martin all the way down in 9th, but that will help them. That will claw them up, towards sort of, the fight for P7. Fair play. But anyway, let's go through the finishing order, if we can. Oh no. I think my game's glitched. Yeah, apologies. I can't run you through the order, so you'd have to just watch the stream back. But what I can tell you is Barretto won the race, despite 6 seconds of penalties. Aiden P2, Nissan P4, Forrest somehow P3, Forrest somehow P4, and Hobnob P5. And it just flashed at the end because this patch has really fixed this game in every possible way. Great stuff. Your commentator today, Lucas Aid. Thank you for joining. Not something I normally do on YouTube at all, in all honesty, but still need some comms for the league, so I thought, why not help out? If you want to join, the league is SNRS. There's a Discord. I'll try and find the link and put it in the comments or something later on. But yeah, again, commentators Luke said thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your week.